And we are live. Hey guys, and welcome to the FPL Tips YouTube channel for a double game week 33 bench boost special, where both of us are probably activating our bench boosts, and we are here to discuss about the teams that are doubling in game week 33 and who are the players to target and what are the transfers that probably we are worth making and something that might not be worth making. I have Anshuman with me. Hey Anshuman, how's it going?
Hi, I'm good. We, yep, good game week so far. All things looking good. Set a great setup and segue to double game week for me. So yeah, excited for the double game week.
Yeah. A bit of a timestamp. We are recording. We are live before the two UCL games that are going to happen. Arsenal versus Real Madrid at the Bernabeu, and Aston Villa will be hosting PSG. So they are, of course, two teams that are going to be doubling this week, and it's interesting to see what their like setup is for that game. So that will help us predict the lineup that they probably will be fielding in the weekend and next midweek. And we also have a Newcastle versus Crystal Palace double game week 32 second game that will be live tomorrow. And I think another like really important game that in terms of FPL this season, most of us will be at five, if not six, players from that game. And there are chips active. There are people with Eddie Howe, people with Isak. So yeah, I mean, exciting times to look forward to. But here we are going to be discussing exclusively on Game Week 33, looking back on who are the assets that might be of use. Four teams are going to be doubling in Game Week 33, which makes it the biggest double game week of the season. Manchester City, Crystal Palace, um, Arsenal, and Aston Villa will be the teams doubling. Arsenal and Crystal Palace will be facing each other, and Manchester City and Aston Villa will be facing each other, which are the advanced games from the FA Cup weekend in Game Week 34. So yeah, any first thoughts on how you're feeling ahead of the big double game week of the season, and who are your eyes set on?
Yeah, my first thoughts and feelings are is that it's not an appealing double game week to me at least. Generally, double game weeks or the biggest double game week of the season used to be big enough. They were large, grand, multiple teams doubling. It's just four teams this time. It's not that great. Does make me question: is it the best game week to double game week, best game week to bench boost, or is 36 equally good? The fixture comparison is pretty much similar, but yeah, not really something that exceptionally stands out for me. My first thought is not going to be a high scoring biggest double game week like it used to be. Like we used to see like 130s and 140s earlier on. I don't think that's going to happen this time. I think he froze, but yeah, I don't generally feel that it's a large opportunity sort of double game week, and the teams are also pretty streamlined. When you look at everyone's team, it's pretty template. Everyone had sort of a Bournemouth player, a couple of Newcastle players. They have the same set of three Crystal Palace players. Most people have Guardiola and Marmoush. Nice mix up of five Arsenal players: Saka, Gabriel slash Saliba. Uh, most people have Raya too. So it's a pretty template sort of situation. Yeah, you're back. I think we lost you for a second.
Yes, yes. Yeah, I had just disconnected on that. Crazy timing for the live here from Australia. Yes, I think we have been struggling to
Yeah,
find time together to make it, but today I'm here from India, and Anshuman is in the US, and we are sort of looked at a time that's early in India and sort of mid noon, afternoon ish in the US. That would help us sort of pod together, and wanted to stream so that.
yeah. Again, we sort of lost him. I think there's some issue with his internet. Hi, John. I'm though glad you joined. The entire idea was to get this out before the UCL, and then one after the UCL, so that we have enough content out for people, enough time for people to sort of grab in those thoughts, get their own opinions flowing, and then after UCL, we'll have a short video too, giving you a slight update on what the UCL results look like, what changes be after this video.
Yeah, I'm back now. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I think your internet is breaking too much this time. It's fine. Okay, I think I might have the presentation. He has the
Yes, I
presentation
think.
also. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I mean now we can just go game week, game by game. Last game we can get that's a double game with 32. A lot of mixed things, a lot of chips being played. People have already played the bench boost with some good fixtures that were there on the bench, and there were some people who backed Arsenal and Aston Villa assets. Some of them got benched, but some of them did end up playing. Uh, Unlucky for owners who had Asensio, who had two penalties and missed them both. Um, and I mean, Aston Villa did end up keeping the clean sheet. So someone who had Martinez or Konsa would have backed
yeah.
them would
Very
have
well.
gotten points over there. While on the other hand, there would have been people who have played the triple captain on Isak. They've gotten 5 points. I think there's one more game left, so something to look forward to over there because that's a huge differential. And also the assistant managership has been played on either Eddie Howe or Glasner. Glasner's pretty unlucky. He was 2-0 up and going really well. And then City just, I think that's a good segue to lead to the discussion of the game as well. And then City just came back strong. I mean, didn't expect them to do that because I mean, this is historically what City have done, but this season would like sort of didn't really have that mentality to shift back when the team really needed it, and it was driven purely by the brilliance of Kevin De Bruyne, who just recently announced that he's going to be leaving Man City at the end of the season after the end of his contract. But he really drove the game. He was fully up for it. His intensity was high, and he scored the free kick, gave the assist for the equalizer, gave the assist for the third goal for Kovacic, which was eventually the winner as well, and then was purely very highly involved in that game. So that's something to take an eye on. What do you think about this game? Did you watch this game, or
No,
any
didn't
takeaways?
watch it. Didn't watch it. Saw the highlights. No major takeaways apart from Mateta being subbed off early and City just showing up. I don't think it was anything different. Them scoring 5 goals, obviously new. I can't say that it looked like they will replicate the same in the next game week. I'm not sure about City, but yeah, that's majorly. Mateta is an issue going ahead as well in the double game week next week. It's sort of something that people would want to think and look into. Should they shift or
Yeah,
not is a question up in the air as well. So I think those players are key.
but with
What do you
respect to
think about those
Mateta, it
players?
was
Yeah.
also that the fact that Glasner did mention after the match that it's not any injury. It was just that he was having a bad game, and Glasner did admit that not having another striker in place and shifting the formation sort of hit them. But he didn't hold back in terms of saying that Mateta had a bad game. But that being said, I do expect Mateta to start against Newcastle again, and we can maybe see what happens in that game and whether his form
And then
changes,
yeah.
because he's not had too many good shots, like big shots, and he was barely involved in that Man City game. Although Man City were holding a high line and there were chances for them to get behind. We saw how Aze's goal was scored in the first 10 minutes. So yeah, I mean, he was not really involved in the game, and that's something that's worth keeping an eye on. A lot of people have Mateta, and there are good Crystal Palace assets to switch as well.
Yeah, my only concern and my only reason to bring Mateta up and even the Crystal Palace guys is that their Arsenal fixture is just 2 days, 3 days actually before their FA Cup game against Villa, which in my opinion is an irrelevant game for Crystal Palace and Arsenal both. There's not much in that game. I think if Glasner wants to rotate their team, give people enough rest or reduce minutes, that's the game he would probably want to go for.
Yeah, agreed. I think we will be coming to a lot of rotation talk as well. But purely, that's another thing worth talking about, because there will, other than maybe Man City, who are sort of trying to end the season on a high, finish in the top five. The other three teams don't have much incentive in the Premier League. I mean, of course, Aston Villa will also be looking to finish in the top five, but they have a big European game they'll try to turn around in their as their immediate focus, and they also have a sort of big squad when, especially in terms of attack, that they can rotate. And so that means that double game week 33, even though it's a bench boost week, it screams a lot of rotation with Arsenal playing Real Madrid and then having a couple of games after that. Aston Villa playing PSG, having a couple of games after that. Then they also have the FA Cup game. So their fixtures look really crunch. And also, of course, the point you mentioned that Crystal Palace will be having the FA Cup game. Although they do play with a more like predictable 11, there might be some sort of rotation for that Arsenal game that we might see. Um, Early thoughts on who are the particular players who you're looking to transfer in, and how many transfers that, like, I mean, generally people have been holding their transfers if they're bench boosting in 33, maybe one or two transfers. And like, who are you set on your eye on? Do you think a punt for Kevin De Bruyne might be worth it after all?
I will discuss my team later. I think regarding optimal transfer strategy, I feel anywhere for a -4 is just easily justifiable on a bench boost. I think 4 points to even 8 points at times are covered up if your bench is completely doubling. So anywhere in that zone, if you are making transfers, like I have two free transfers, I am still looking to take a -4 to shuffle things around. I think it's justified and doable. Okay, man. Let's deep dive into City then. Since they are doubling, what are the three players you're looking, or maybe two players you're looking to sort of have in your? There's actually not much discussion. Pretty much Guardiola, Marmoush stand out, and they're the top picks from that team. It's the third position that's up for debate. Are you looking for a third City player, or are you thinking of a punt, or are you skipping it?
I mean, I'm currently considering a punt on Kevin De Bruyne, because when he plays well, he like City click, and everything around that goes well, and that really happened in that Crystal Palace game. And I mean, who won't be sort of drawn towards Kevin De Bruyne when he brings that sort of performance in a game? But it is the fact that he is also an expensive asset, and I think someone who's more safer would be Bukayo Saka from Arsenal. But
No,
so
that's
the
right. Let's
funds
stick to
will,
City, specifically City.
yes, the funds will not be like sort of allocated towards De Bruyne. So that's the issue, and that's the reason I might skip. But I really think he appeals, and if I was on a free hit, I would really would have found a way to bring him in. But since the budget is tight, I probably wouldn't. And given that he's not going to come, I'm not sure. I'm not really sure I'll be bringing another defender, especially if I need to take a -4. I don't think Man City defense really will be something that I'll consider because of the lack of clean sheets that you get from there, and they can concede any game, and also that there is a lot of rotation. Nico O'Reilly could have been a good option, but he's classified as a midfielder and not a defender. But otherwise, there might be a lot of rotation. Kusanov got rotated recently. Rico Lewis is not nailed as well, and goalkeeper I'm not touching. Uh, Coming to
Yeah.
the midfield, I don't think the same thing about rotation is there because there are so many options. They have their full squad. Against the previous game, they had played Doku, Savinho, Grealish as the three, and then now they had played Bernardo Silva, De Bruyne, and and Foden has still not played. He's injured and he's not played. Savinho is benched. You have Oscar Bob who's come back as well, and he might be looking at. So other than Marmoush, who's sort of the central player, I don't think anyone is really nailed in that City team. The only reason I brought in De Bruyne is when he's in form, it's difficult to drop him, and that's the only thing that makes me feel that he will be starting these games because of the way he played. But I don't think anyone else other than that in attack is really nailed in this team.
No, I have like a completely different opinion. Him being nailed or not is a secondary question to me. I would still not jump on him. Like I have a clear, distinctive choice there. I One is obvious funds. It's moving around likes of Saka or Salah to get him, which doesn't seem reasonable to me. It just doesn't make sense. I don't know if he'll even be on penalties. I don't know historically when last he was on penalties, if at all City get a penalty. He's played one game, and we've seen in the past Pep has benched him. It's not unlikely for now. Pep trying to bench him. It depends on his mood, and even Kevin De Bruyne is not uh, like away from the roulette. So I would. I have a clear distinction of not jumping onto him. There is absolutely no guarantee that he'll start. Even if he does, I don't think he's a player who's a streaky form guy. He does well, but at times there are games. He's more of a player, in my opinion, where you give him 6 games, he'll do well consistently. He'll get you an average, good average, because he'll blast off points in a couple of games, and the others he'll do a one, maybe a one assist or a 3 pointer if City keep a clean sheet. But I don't think that's kind of the case. I'm not sure if the minutes will be there. So I'm
There is a
don't jump
scenario that
around
I
Kevin De
mean,
Bruyne.
there are some teams where there's already Saka, there's already Salah, but there's a Foden spot that is there, and Foden needs to go. I don't think Foden is a keep as well. He's not fit.
Yeah, yeah,
He's
he
not
was a sell
starting. He's
last
not
week.
playing
Yeah,
well. So there, a direct swap, because there's not too many players other than that in that price bracket. A direct swap to De Bruyne might be an option. That's purely why I was bringing in Kevin De Bruyne in the topic, because it is the fact that, I mean, the whole point that they play well when he plays well, and that's the reason why I mean, obviously Pep will be looking to rest him and all of that, but De Bruyne did come out and say that he was having issues throughout the season, and he had a very difficult year, and that's the reason he was not been playing so often. But now I think it's also an incentive for him to continue playing well, to say that he's still good enough to maybe even remain in the Premier League, or like go to a good club, and not end up going to places abroad, maybe Saudi or MLS, or but still stay in Europe, still contribute to a good European team. And this is also his time to show that he still got it, and that's sort of another narrative that forms. But that being said, I wouldn't break your team out to bring him in, because he's not a long term punt either.
yeah.
And so I
Would you take him or not? Is the question. Let's say you have Foden, would you still buy him or not? It's as simple as that.
if I
Some
have
people buy
Foden, I
Foden.
would really consider that. But if I
No,
don't,
but
I
like
wouldn't.
not sitting on the fence. Would you get him or not?
Yeah, I don't have Foden, but if I had Foden, I would probably get him.
I would not, because I think the likes of Savinio for a cheaper cost, Rashford, Bowen, even the single game week guys could do well. I don't. It's not the greatest appealing double game week for City even. When you look at the fixture, it's not like they will score 5 again. I don't think so. That's possible. Villa can defend on their day against even. I think the second game is, if I'm not wrong, Newcastle,
I have Everton away and Villa at home.
Everton. Yeah, Everton. Everton again is a defensively solid side. I don't see sort of easy route for points for Man City in those 2 games. So I'm not. Even if you have Foden, I would consider maybe a single game week player. And I really want to emphasize there are good single game week games this game week, even for bench boost purposes. It's not a game week where all 15 players will be doubling. It's not one of those games, anyways. It's a budget. It's not that big of a double game week. I don't think people will have more than people can not statistically have more than 12 double game weekers, and I don't think that's going to be a large population any which ways. So I think look at the single game week guys. Bowen is a good shout with Southampton, a good fixture run ahead. If you don't want to
Yeah, fair
jump
point.
onto an off form player, maybe Rashford is an option. There's Savinho who's doing on and off. Can consider for him as well. I wouldn't risk it on De Bruyne because he's also a transfer out for sure. Eventually, after 33 or 34, maybe, which is another burden.
Yeah, and there's another point that whoever you will be bringing in this week, maybe it's City or Aston Villa, they will probably be doubling again in the season if they do progress, and you'll need them for that week as well, which is definitely a point. But yeah, I mean, I still do think if I have Foden, I would make the jump, and because it's really good upside chasing. That's basically what I think. But fair, if it's, I mean, he's
Yeah,
definitely a risk.
talking about chasing, I think there is enough option. We'll discuss when we talk about Arsenal. I think there is enough upside to jump on. If you have Gabriel, if you have Foden, if you were in that situation, jump onto a double Arsenal attack. That's a good opportunity to switch around things and probably go ahead in that space as well. Arsenal has the best attacking fixtures in the double game week. Can't emphasize more on that.
Yeah, I probably agree with that as well. That's another interesting discussion to
Okay, yeah,
bring in.
yeah.
Maybe we can
We'll
use
wrap up.
that to segue.
No, we'll wrap up
Yeah,
City.
we can
Who's the
wrap up
third pick?
City.
De Bruyne.
I don't think I'd pick a third if not for De Bruyne because I
Okay.
really don't trust the minutes over there.
I'd go Savinho if I had to pick a third one, but otherwise, no. I think Ederson would make sense if we had a spot, but Raya is good. He's doubling up any which ways, so I don't think there is a too much shift required. So, discussing the second team, Crystal Palace. Are you looking to shift around with Mateta or sticking?
I'm sticking.
I'm sticking to, yeah. I don't think there is a necessary shift needed at this point. If he starts, he'll do decent. He's historically done good. Sar versus Eze again is a good debate. Eze is looking slightly better, especially after we pick Sar into our teams. Uh, do you do you think people should switch or just stay and stick what they've committed to?
I mean, I think transfers are really valuable at this point. I don't think people have too many transfers, and people will be struggling to have a lot of transfers come game week 36 as well. So, I don't think it's a very good strategy to switch between players sideways. Eze has been good. Sar can also be good. Sar was not bad against City as well. He did get in behind a couple of times. Could have maybe had a shot or two in good areas. So I do expect him to continue to like sort of be involved. He's also 90-minute man who sort of is really attacking, and you have seen that he in patches he really goes off. He can have a brace in a game, and that potential is definitely there. So I don't think I would switch from Sar back to Eze. I
Yep.
would just be remaining patient over there. I think points are there to be taken, and there might be variance, but just take it on the chin and continue backing
Yep.
who you got in the
I'll
first
also
place.
stick with whoever you have. I wouldn't switch. And Munoz picks him up.
Yeah.
Okay, next up, Brighton Leicester. I don't think they are particularly of extensive importance given the double game week. Brighton play Brentford again, middling fixture, and Leicester play Liverpool. So nothing to discuss there.
Yes, yes. I don't think there's much to discuss there.
I'll,
I've also
yep,
brought forward the fixtures rather than the results from the previous week,
yep.
so that we can maybe look at
We
who's
can skim
playing
through
who
better.
in the.
Uh,
Yes,
a lot of discussion on Bournemouth players. People have Bournemouth players still. Do you think they should jump off to a double game week player if possible?
Bournemouth could be doubling in the future as well based on the FA Cup results. So unless you really need to move push, I mean maybe if you have Kluivert and who's really uncertain, if you still have him, you probably move him on. But if you have a Kirkes or an Evan Nilsson, I'd still hold and play them in your bench boost. Evan Nilsson especially is sort of pretty attacking, can score goals in any game. So I don't think moving him away might be too viable a strategy, especially when you're having doubts over Mateta if you don't have Mateta in your team. I mean, I don't think Isak and Marmoush are probably the first two strikers that
Yeah,
most
then
people will be having. But
Mateta becomes
Mateta is, I mean, I probably if you have Evan Nilsson, I'd hold. Other than that, I wouldn't be looking to buy in Bournemouth assets as such. But if you have some of these guys, I probably would hold.
I think if you have a midfielder, I look to switch because the next fixtures aren't that appealing. Crystal is defensively decent, and they have United, Arsenal, Villa, City, and then Leicester in the game week 38. Even if let's say they double in 36, 37, that's a future sort of situation to deal with. I would like, and they have a good segue to Aston Villa guys. Like, I mean, Asensio missed two penalties. That's a discussion of its own, but there is. Rashford, Asensio is still there. Rogers there. That's an easy segue to Aston Villa guys there, who have a double now, and potentially will have a double in 36 as well.
Yeah, yeah. If you have a Kluivert, Sevenio, or a Dango still, I would definitely
Yeah,
agree that
I switched.
moving to either to Aston Villa or to a cheaper Arsenal mid might be something to think about. Maybe even a Sevenio, as you mentioned, but I don't think I'll go there over the other. But
They're
yes,
not over the other two. Yeah.
yeah, but that's definitely an option when it comes to Bournemouth mids. But my point is purely for Evan Nilsson or Kirkes. If you have them in your
Yeah.
team, I probably stick over there because I don't think there are too many viable alternatives in that particular position. But definitely midfield, I think, is worth considering, and we will be coming to talking about more about the midfield assets from Arsenal and Arsenal. Um, Coming to Everton, I think they have a single game week against Man City, so I don't think they're like a target. West
Yeah,
Ham against Southampton is the plum fixture from the single game week point of view. And we do. Some people have Areola, some people have Van Bissaka. Probably good to bench boost with them. But yeah, you did mention Bowen. What about Bowen? I think like what like is it really worth
it's
bringing in Bowen in this?
it's a complete shot in the dark. Yes, you want to take a chance in a double game week. Southampton couldn't be a better fixture to take your chances and punt. And the easy thing out here is that he has good fixtures after this as well. So it helps someone who wants to buy Bowen and hold for a while. But do I expect him to do exceptionally well? No, I'm not sure. It's also because of his stats. His stats and numbers do not look crazy and good before this. He's been really on and off as a player and asset for the while and for the season. So if you have
Yeah, and he's also not
open
very
spot,
cheap
yeah,
as well. 7.6 million. You'll need a lot of funds to bring that player
yeah,
in,
yeah.
especially given the now the type of players each team does have.
And he has some form, but I don't think that's great enough. I think in the last 6 games he scored what, 2-7, 2-5, 2-6, 10. Again, this is a cyclic sort of pattern. Against the easier oppositions, yes, he scored points. I think he scored points against all most easy oppositions. So yeah, if you want to take a chance, I think he's the only good single game week punt available. He's probably the standout punt. But again, he's a pure punt. It's not a calculated guess and bet.
Yeah, I tend to agree. And yeah, unless you need to downgrade someone like a Foden again, I
Yeah,
probably wouldn't go there. I think you have good double game weekers as well, so and at cheaper prices, so you can maybe go there instead. And I don't think a lot of teams at this point are loaded up on Aston Villa, so there's always room for that Aston Villa, which brings us to the Aston Villa Newcastle game. Aston Villa will have Newcastle at home and Man City away, and that is after the PSG game. So I think they're playing on Tuesday. They'll be playing again on Saturday, and then they'll be probably playing again on Tuesday on yeah,
yeah.
on Tuesday as well. So and then they have a Saturday fixture against Crystal Palace, or either Saturday or Sunday against Crystal Palace in the FA
I
Cup.
think they have a Sunday. They have a
So
Tuesday, Saturday, Wednesday, Sunday turnaround. It's pretty normal.
yes,
It's not extensive for them, but yeah, they generally as far as I've seen Aston Villa, and it's going to be a tough game against PSG. They ran a lot last game as well, and it's going to be tough to come back from the deficit. But Aston Villa have historically, even through the competition so far, they have looked fatigued when they come back from the European night, and they have looked a much weaker side when they come to play the next game. So it's been a trend so far. Uh, yeah, this is
but
the team they played in the last two sort
yes,
of
on the
matches.
left hand side is the team that played PSG, and the right hand side is the team that played Southampton. Out
Yeah,
of the front three people are common already. Jacob Ramsey, Marcus Rashford, Morgan Rogers, all three started both the games. Yuri Tillemans is someone who's really important to them as well, who's been playing a lot of minutes. So it's not like there's been extensive rotation in these two games. There was good rotation the game before that against Nottingham Forest, which they
yeah.
still managed to win, but they really rotated in that game. I think, but they have options. They have Daniel Marlin, who scored in
Watkins,
each of the last three
Malin, yeah.
games. They have Watkins, who's, I mean, who Emery has been talking about, who's nursing a knee issue, which is probably why he's not been able to start these games. And I don't think he's gone out of favor as such, because he's very important for that team. And Rashford could play on the left as well. So I think it's mostly have got to do with the knee issue. But whether it's fine or not in time for the double game week is something that really, like, we need to keep an eye on. Keep an eye on the press conference of Unai Emery, because I think it's paid off for me earlier this season, doing Isak to Watkins for a Watkins double game week, and I'm tempted to do it again if I do get positive news, because he did come on against Southampton and score and change the game.
Yeah, I think that could happen again when he comes on for Rashford again after the UCL night, unless the game goes in extra time or something, which I don't think is unlikely. I think PSG will win that game and will go through. I don't think Aston Villa is a tough match for them. So I do expect rotation to happen even after the loss. I think Rashford will be one of those guys who will either be sacrificed for less minutes or rotation completely. And I think it's a good chance for Watkins. He'll have decent rest. He was given minutes this time, so Watkins could start and then play 60 and get off, and then Rashford will come on. So it's for me personally, apart from Rogers and maybe Asensio, somewhat, it's a tough call to start people or buy people
Yes, I
for
think
from
I
Aston
think
Villa.
the most nailed player is clear that is Morgan Rogers and probably will be in a lot of teams. And he is in good form. He's been returning in each of the last three games, and it does look like he'll continue playing, and the minutes are there. Although he's playing on the right, he's still giving returns.
Yeah,
So is it worth considering Morgan Rogers and say I will stick with Morgan Rogers, or is it sort of better to go for a Marcus Rashford? I don't think Marco Asensio is like ahead of Marcus Rashford at this point because of Marcus Rashford's tendency to play on the strike, and he's also like has
yeah,
more open play, goal threat, and assist threat, which will probably bring put him ahead of Asensio. So purely, my question
yeah.
is either Morgan Rogers or Marcus Rashford. Who's your pick?
I think if I had to go for minutes and purely uh, a safer bet Rogers, but if someone is okay with the 60 odd minutes in the first game and against City, then playing the forward sort of striker sort of role, I think Rashford is fine. My only problem is the City game is second. So even if he starts the second one, it's going to be a tough one.
Yeah, agreed. But
Although
that being
again, I'm
said,
I'm
City.
not very sure. Yeah, how to rate City in this sort of situation? How they've been leaky at times. It's not like you
Yes,
can
even against Crystal
classify them as a
Palace, you
great
could see
defense.
that they were really struggling defensively until a point, and I probably expect the same against Aston Villa. I think if you play that high line, you have players who can exploit that high line, and Rashford can still start on the left wing as well if Watkins starts up front. So I think something that you'll probably have to be acceptable of is that whoever you bring in from Aston Villa's attack, other than maybe Morgan Rogers, is probably going to get 120 to 130 minutes maximum, and that's something that you should probably be okay with. There'll be maybe a start and then a cameo off the bench, and maybe try to get the maximum points, because I still think they are good assets and viable, and also good long term, because after this they will be purely focusing on how to get their European positions fixed. They are still in good contention to play in the Champions League next season as well, through their league position, and they are having a late surge after being very like up and down throughout the season. But now they have a good chance of finishing in that top five in the Premier League to get that. So I think they will be continue to play strong teams. Rashford will be someone who will be relied upon as well.
Yeah, I agree.
So
If I had to take a
top three
punt,
picks.
uh, I think Rashford as a punt would be better than Morgan Rogers. It's just how Rashford has been playing. I think Rogers would be second and Asensio third. I am not in favor of Isaac to Watkins, and that's purely off that Isaac is looking in a better sort of form. Although it's slightly declined from a couple of games, but he still looked better. Watkins scored the goal, but there even in the last game before that, he was not exceptional. So that's the only place where I'm coming from.
Agreed. I think a lot of people will be trying to stick to Isak rather than twist to Watkins. But yeah, I mean, it's something that I will definitely be considering, but I need to hear something about Watkins in Unai's press conference. Maybe look at him against PSG for a cameo as well and see how he's doing. Any conversation on whatever his knee problem is. So because I don't want two benches and say that he can only play for come up from the bench. I would like to have one start at least from Watkins, and then one appearance of the bench. That would be good in terms of the fixture, because I don't think Newcastle have a very straightforward fixture away at Aston Villa as well. So I think the upside is there. And moving forward, I don't think Newcastle have the best of fixtures as well. So maybe going to Watkins, maybe the sort of thinking of the double game week that could come for Aston Villa, and from 35 to 38 they have some good fixtures. They have, I think, Fulham, then Spurs, Wolves, and Man United. So they are good fixtures that can be really counted upon. So I think going Rashford and Watkins might be something that I'm going to genuinely consider. But yeah, I will be waiting for more news from the UCL game and from Unai Emery's press conferences before making that decision. But let's rate our top three, including Watkins. I think you did mention Rashford, Rogers, and then Asensio.
Rashford,
I
Rogers, and
probably have Rashford one as well, and Rogers probably at two as well because but I think it's between the two, and then I'll have Watkins at three because I mean Watkins is their talisman
Yep.
still, and he'll be their main goal scorer if he plays.
Yeah, fair.
Yes. Moving on to other teams, Fulham,
Newcastle.
Chelsea.
I think I'll say hold Isaac, hold Livramento if you have them. For Barnes,
Yeah,
Jacob Murphy, I'll switch them up if I could.
yeah, I think the
If I could,
midfielders are
obviously.
easier to dispose, as we
Yeah.
did talk about before. Jim Murphy or Barnes or whoever you have, easier to dispose. Isak to Watkins is purely based on what you think about Watkins. But I don't think I would switch Livermore at all because I don't think there's any upside in defense. And I even like an Aston Villa or Man City defender, you'll probably need to take a -4. I'm guessing in a lot of places,
Yeah,
and I
just not
just
worth
find
it.
holding Livermore. I don't think you can expect anything, but just hold him maybe a point or two. Just take that. I don't
Yeah.
think there will be massive upside in make the switch.
Yep, I think that's pretty much we discussed. Arsenal is the only other doubler that we need to discuss. With
Yes.
Arsenal, it's pretty
Um.
template. If you it's only Gabriel, and then I think I would switch. The only discussion that is required is: do you do a Gabriel to a Saliba, or do you do a Gabriel to another defender and then switch it up with Merino in midfield? What do you think?
I'm personally leaning towards sticking with Saliba because of more options in the midfield from Aston Villa. I think I will be leaning towards a Rashford rather than a Merino in my team, and I have the space only to do Murphy to one other midfielder. So that's what I'm sort of leaning towards. And also, I will be looking to bring in Bukayo Saka for Cole Palmer. So that's a definite transfer that's worth because even if Cole Palmer is probably more nailed, I don't think like I think the fixtures are there for the taking for Arsenal,
Yep.
and I think Saka will be played after this. I think he will start both the games because building the rhythm is an important thing. He's just come back and he's slowly been eased in, got benches in the Premier League. But I think even though they're out of the Premier League race, if like especially now they're likely to go to the Champions League semi-final, uh, Saka's rhythm has to be built. The understanding with Odegaard has to continue in such games that sort of will get that form going, and they will be having a big rest between like sort of 7-8 days because they are out of the FA Cup. So between the two games, the Champions League game and the game against Crystal Palace, there's sort of a week, and I think that rest period will also help him. So my prediction will be Bukayo Saka starts both Ipswich and Crystal Palace, and which is why I will be bringing him in mainly. And that's why I would probably not go for Merino and I'll go for an Aston Villa player instead, which makes an obvious move from Gabriel to Saliba in
Yeah.
defense. And defensively, they're still fine. They did concede goals in each of the last three games, but they've been fine for me over the long term, and I will still stick with their defense. I think they're solid.
Yeah, they're a solid defense. I think that's a decent option and decent shout. Well, I think Merino has his merit. I think if you're targeting Ipswich and the next game, I think it's a good shout. I would, if you're switching things up, if you have a spot, I would, in fact, take Merino ahead of Rashford for this game week, and then Rashford can come in next game week as well. That's not a problematic situation. So for me, Merino is a good shout. I think he's been really key to Arsenal attacking. I think equally Martinelli as well. He's done better with and alongside Saka. So that's definitely a aspect and point to look if you're looking for a punt from Arsenal. Martinelli is equally good as far as Merino. Especially with Saka, he looks much better. So yeah, if you want to punt those two guys, look good.
Agreed. Yeah, I think that it's a closer discussion than it seems when it comes to Merino versus Rashford, because you can maybe go for a single game week defender from Saliba, maybe to a Bradley, and look at the Liverpool fixture, or you can also look at someone else. But I don't think I'll go to an Aston Villa defender as such. But Yeah, I mean, looking at Merino instead of Rashford might be worth considering as well. I think
Yeah.
I will be definitely giving that a thought. But at this point, I'm
Yep.
still leaning towards doing the other move.
Yep. Fair.
But just largely looking at Arsenal's rotation, I just want to reiterate that maybe Martinelli is a risk over there, but Merino and Saka will probably be starting most of the games, even though it's in the Premier League. And I think the other one here worth looking at is the other defender. If you don't want to go Saliba, maybe will you be going for a Timber or a Kiwior instead?
I think Saliba, he's nailed, and I think that's the best way to
Yeah,
go
but
about
budget is also a question. Saliba is
it.
increasing, and a lot of teams don't have the value to do Gabriel to Saliba.
Timber is
If
not
you
minutes guaranteed, as far as I know. Timber is a minutes risk, and Choir is someone you can go, but again, he's also not that cheap, and he's no like nothing apart from a clean sheet point sort of situation.
yeah, I mean his
So
baseline bonus was pretty good in the game that he played in the
I
beginning.
don't.
So that
Yeah,
that might be an option because he's very cheap. He's at 4.8, 4.9. I think
yeah,
he comes at a much cheaper price than Saliba. That's 1.6 saved, which you can maybe use later. And it's a very short set of games. There's only 6 games left in the season. And I don't think he started both games. He started all the games since Gabriel has gone pretty much. And I don't think there will be a like White will come and play in the centre back position. It'll either be challenging Timber, but White is also not completely fit. He's not
yeah,
there yet, and I don't think White will be that directly starting games over here. So I think Kivior is definitely a shout. Timber less so because of the like he is also like having some injury niggles here and there and might miss out
yeah.
games because of that. And
We've
Partey is
seen a bunch
very
of
much
players
fit to
start
be on
in the
the
right back position. It's not a
yes,
guaranteed
yes,
position in Arsenal, so
yes, yes,
it's just too much risk, I would say. I think if you can afford Choir or Saliba, go there. I think those are the nailed guys.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
agree.
think that's pretty much Arsenal.
Yeah.
It's sort of a dull double game week, to be honest. With it's
I think
pretty
Arsenal
obvious
have the
that
best chance of scoring big in this double game week, and they
scoring
have good
big, yeah, but
fixtures.
like by choice, but terms of choice, most people will have the same sort of bench boost team. Uh,
That's a
Unfortunately,
very
this
fair point.
season, yeah,
Yes,
yeah, it's not a
yes,
drastically different. There were
yes,
times when people used to double up on Burnley, double defense in double game weeks, and that used to be a thing, and that would be a risky bet to take. So those are fun times.
yes, definitely. Um, Ipswich, no,
Uh,
nothing much to discuss about. Man United Wolves. Uh, who has an easier
Wolves,
fixture over here?
Bulls, I think, has the easier fixture. The Bulls are looking much better. In Nuri, Stan
Yeah, they've
Larsen,
won four in the
both
last four
looking good.
games.
Yeah, they're looking good. Someone wants to downgrade for funds. Uh, Stan Larsen is a genuine option. The fixtures are not that bad
Yes,
going ahead. He's a decent. He's probably second decent single game week player if you want to take a punt. He's looking really good in form as well. I mean, I obviously
yes,
don't want to neglect the Liverpool guys who have an exceptional fixture, but apart from the Liverpool people, is what I'm trying to
yes.
say.
I mean, there are a lot of people shopping for big midfielders. But if you still have Bruno Fernandes in your team, and it's Wolves at home, would you move downwards maybe to the same midfielders, double game midfielders we mentioned, other than Saka?
No, not other than Saka. I think I would keep Bruno. They
Fair.
were not
I
that
think I'd
bad.
do the same.
United were not that bad against in the last game. They were decent. Yes, did not win against Newcastle, but they were not the worst. Even against City, they were not that bad. It was a bad football match altogether. So I think in
Yes.
Wolves do leak chances. He's on penalties, set pieces, so that's always a plus to have. It's a transfer that you save, so hold on to that.
Yeah. Yeah. Coming to
I think
Liverpool,
that
I think a point of discussion over here because they have a plum fixture against Leicester. Everyone has Salah, but there are people who had gone Saliba to a Liverpool defender last week. I think it's still viable going to a Liverpool defender this week. Sorry, Gabriel to a Liverpool defender. Now it's viable going to a Liverpool defender again. Bradley is very good. He's going to start most of the games from now on to the end of the season. Also, for Liverpool to look at the fact that Bradley, I mean, he's good enough to be the number one next season in terms of the right back position, but also for him to get that run in towards the end of the season and sort of build his confidence. going in, because he has been unlucky with some of his injuries of
Yeah.
late. But I think Bradley is a good option over there to go uh, in, like, away from any other defense in the double. It's a good game to bank a clean sheet in, and maybe there's an attacking return or two, because Bradley is also very much involved in the box. He might get assists and or goals in such a game as well. So I think he has good upside in that game.
Yep. The fixtures though are tough, but Liverpool has been decent throughout. I don't think Tottenham, Chelsea, and even Arsenal to an extent are bad fixtures to have. So from a long term point of view, it's kind of mixed. But this game is good, and people who have Rico Lewis or similar players in that bracket can consider it, especially with Rico Lewis. I'm not sure if he'll start both the games. Uh, City can
Yes.
concede either or they don't look defensively good. So if you have Guardiola,
Yes.
it's pretty much nuts about it.
Yes.
You can switch up Rico Lewis to a Bradley. I don't think there's any other team with straight up good fixtures for
I mean,
defensibility.
one more player in Liverpool probably to discuss is Luis Diaz. I think the last
Luis
few games
Diaz.
he's been pretty good, and he's been scoring. And he's also probably going to start, because I don't think Jota is in good form at all. Nunez won't
No.
play. So if Gakpo does come, Luis Diaz will be moving to the center, and Gakpo will be playing on the left. Which is, I mean, he's been in good form. But again, he's pretty expensive. So it's purely like, instead of Bowen, if you want an alternative in that particular price bracket, definitely worth considering. Also, like, can be held on to a long term. Liverpool will be playing, like, I mean, they will be playing well from now
Yeah,
till the
they
end of the
will, and
season.
there's not much
And there will
rotation
be
as well.
goals,
They're
like,
just
regard.
starting.
Yeah. Spurs, Nottingham Forest, I don't think there are any
Not
assets over
not of
here.
much interest. If you have
Yes, and
Nottingham Forest guys, just play them. If you have
yes,
the
play them.
defender, play them. If you have Chris Wood, play
Yeah.
them. I don't think there's
I
much.
don't think I'd
If
switch
you
any
have,
Nottingham Forest defender away,
yeah,
and
if
even
you
a
have
forwards as
like
well,
the likes of Gibbs White
or
or
Elanga.
Elanga, maybe you can consider a switch if you don't have the Crystal mids or let's say the Arsenal mids, but only those two
Yes.
because Nottingham have good fishers beyond this as well.
Yes, and they could also double in Game Week 36,
Yep.
which is worth considering as well. So
Yes.
maybe you can hold, especially the defenders, definitely hold them. They have good fixtures also towards the end of the season, so it's worth just holding them.
Yeah. But yeah, that's about it. I
Okay.
think we've discussed most teams and most sort of double gaming players. We
Yes,
can
I think
discuss
that's
our
about it.
moves.
We can now come to our bus teams. This is yours. You
Yep.
can read out.
I have my team. I switched up Gabriel to Guardiola last week. I have Raya, Ariola, Munoz, Guardiola, Livramento, Nico Williams, Luis, Jacob Murphy, Merino, Sar, Salah, Trossard, Mateta, Mamush, and Isak. I have a transfer planned which is Murphy to Bowen. That will happen irrespective. My other move will either be a Trossard to Martinelli if I sense that he is starting the first game. If not, I will just stick with Trossard. But most likely, I'm more likely to switch to Martinelli than anything else. I'm short of Saka, so I'm not jumping there any choice.
Okay. If Saka is not in your team, then, like, what are your thoughts on captaincy? I think that's another discussion to be had, because there's no standout
Uh,
captain this week, and there are some good options.
yeah, there isn't a standout captaincy option. I might just play it for fun and put it on Guardiola. Honestly, the other shout I had was Mikel Merino. So yeah, there isn't even with the double game week players, even with Saka. Is you have Saka, he's probably the most capped pick there. But yeah, I am not sure. I'll put it on Merino depending on who is starting or not. I might just play it on Guardiola either ways. I think both
I mean,
fixtures look. Yeah.
but genuinely, I think it's between two. It's either Saka or Marmush. Saka, as I did mention, will be probably be playing two games, good games from an
Yeah.
attacking point of view. He's like definitely up there in terms of captaincy. And Marmush, I think, even in the Crystal Palace game, he should have had he should have added maybe another goal or two as well. And he's looking really lively at this point. He's scoring goals. He's really, like,
Yep.
getting the chances in and around. When City are in the game, he'll be playing mostly 80 plus minutes. And also the fact that De Bruyne did create a couple of really big chances for Marmoush,
Yeah.
which Marmoush failed to take away. I think he is definitely worth a captaincy shout. Aston Villa will be playing a lot of games, and I don't think they might be leggy in terms of defense. and that game might be a 3 or 4 goals for City as well. Everton
You
is a
can do.
difficult game, but Aston Villa might be a good game for Mamush. So I think he is the alternative to Saka if I don't go for Saka.
Yep. I was just out of Guardiola for my love to captain a defender in a double game week. Haven't done it in a while, so yeah.
Yeah, I mean Reece James of the past would probably be coming to tell you that yeah you can do that.
Yeah.
Was it? Yeah, was it that game week where he had a double game week, played against Burnley in the first game, scored 18 points, and then didn't play the second game week because he was injured? That was peak
Yeah, I
Reece,
think it
Reece
was
James.
one of those. Yeah.
Yes. Coming to my team before we wrap up, Raya and goal. Gabriel has not been switched yet. I will be switching him. Guardiol, Konza, Murphy, Palmer, Sar, Eze, Isak, Marmoush, Mateta. And my bench has Ariola, Salah, Konate, and Livramento. I'm not touching anyone in my bench, so they're just going to stay there. The changes will be in my team. Palmer to Saka is almost certain. Gabriel to probably Saliba or maybe Kivior. I will be thinking on top of that to do that. Murphy to Rashford and Isak to Watkins. I have exactly point one if I do Saliba, but if I want to save some money, I might just go Kivior as well. So I don't think that's a bad shout.
Yep.
So yeah, I think I have 3 transfers. I'll probably be taking a -4 hit. But as I did mention earlier in the pod, I'll be waiting for to watch the UCL games to get more information from that, and also to sort of listen to Arteta and Emery
Yeah.
ahead of this game week because I my main targets are Arsenal and Aston Villa.
Yep. This seems like a nice decision and nice sort of planned moves there.
Yes, I'm currently armband is on Marmoush, but if I have Saka, I'll probably switch to Saka.
Switch to
But I'll
soccer.
be considering Marmoush as well. But Saka has 2 good fixtures. Well, compared to Marmoush, I think is only has the one.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I think we can maybe take a couple of questions before ending the
Yeah, I think we
pod.
have one major team question from Janom Doshi in the chat. He sent in his team Ariola, Munoz, Guardiola, Timber, Konsa, Sar, Rogers, Saka, Sala, Mateta, Mamush. Bench is Pickford, Isaac, Murphy, and Milenkovic. What do you think? I have no transfer required. I think no transfer required except how to Arteta. Okay, he has assistant manager on. Would you do
I don't think
how to
how to
Arteta?
Arteta. I wouldn't do that. I probably would stick. Oh yeah, I mean maybe it's a double game week. Yeah, probably
Yeah,
is
makes
worth
sense to
doing
go
that.
for a double game week guy.
Yeah, it does make sense.
Yeah,
But
Arteta
the
seems
team
better.
otherwise is good. I think for
Yeah, you
like
have a
this
good.
week, and you have
Yeah,
Ariola goal, which is good. Munoz, Guardiol, Timber all double. Konza's as well doubles. Sar, Rogers, Saka, Salah, Mateta, Mamush. I think that's a good team to have this game week. And I think I just do how to Arteta and just back on the fact that Arteta will get 2 wins. Maybe worth considering Glasner, but I don't think I'll go there as much. Uh, Maybe Emery as well. But
yeah.
yeah, no,
Crystal
I don't
Palace
think
is
Emery or I don't think Emery has any table bonus. The only table bonus fixture is Crystal Palace against Arsenal. But I think
yeah,
two
that's the
banker
only
fixtures for
bonus
Arsenal
game.
might be better.
Yeah, I think, and even that game isn't like a high probability table bonus situation. So I was just
Yes,
thinking that
that's true.
doesn't look
Yeah,
like the case. I would just stick it on Arteta, take maximum
yeah,
goals and clean sheet as a point.
agreed.
And yeah, holding Isaac seems the likely decision. You'll want to buy him again. You won't necessarily want to buy him again. That's not a guaranteed thing. You can segue into Wood and then just keep Wood for the rest of the season. But
Yes,
yeah, if
that's
you
my
plan
plan
to,
as well. If
yeah,
Watkins is not an option, I'll probably go from Watkins to Wood. Maybe I can go from Mateta to Wood as well. But reading
yeah,
Isak's fixtures, other than gaming, I mean, I don't think they're the best of fixtures. Gaming 34,
yeah,
I'll be free hitting. So for Ipswich
any
home,
which ways, yeah,
I'll be bringing back Isak. So that's there. But gaming 35, he has Brighton away, Chelsea at home, Arsenal away, Everton at home. I think the Chelsea at home fixture is a fixture where I'll probably want him, but it's fine. I think there are double game weekers in that week. Wood probably plays Leicester that week. Arsenal away and Everton at home, I mean, it might be fine twisting against Isak. So if I do remove Isak now for Watkins, I don't think I'll be bringing him back this season.
yeah. I agree. I'm on the same sort of situation. Fair. Okay, that's then
Yes, I
about
think
it.
that's it.
We'll wrap it up.
It's a good
Let's,
another
yeah,
almost an hour. Good discussion, and hopefully it's a good bench boost for all of us. I mean, it's not the most best of bench boost, but sometimes bench boost does surprise you. That you do get some good points from people you don't expect it
yeah,
from. So yeah, I mean, good luck for
yep,
the last leg of the season as well. I think after this, there will be a free hit discussion on Gaming 34, which will be a very refreshing discussion because we'll have to pick 11 random players which have nothing to do with our team right now. Not thinking about Gaming 36, Gaming 37.
yeah,
That'll be fun. But yeah, I think that's about it from today's spot.
yep. That's
Any
about
last
it. We'll
words?
wrap up. No, I think we'll try to give up an update if something major changes after the UCL games. But if nothing changes, this is pretty much our final verdict for the double game week.
Yes.
Okay.
And that's that.
Um,
Thank you for another
yep.
live. And this is Anshuman and Akhilesh from the FPL Tips YouTube channel signing off. Goodbye.
Cheers, guys.